The automotive world has been watching closely as one of the most unusual and controversial rebuild projects continues to unfold. A damaged Bugatti Chiron, one of the most advanced and expensive cars ever made, is being rebuilt outside the official manufacturer's support. That alone is enough to create attention, but what is happening now has taken things to another level. A custom exhaust system is being developed that could completely change how this car sounds and performs. This is not just a simple upgrade. It is a deep engineering challenge that involves redesigning one of the most complex parts of the car. The company working on this system is not starting from zero, but they are also not following factory instructions. They are using the original muffler casing as a base, but everything inside is being rebuilt. This includes new pipe routing, new connections, and a completely different design approach. The goal is simple but difficult: to make the powerful W16 engine sound more aggressive, more raw, and more exciting, without damaging performance. Naturally, this has created mixed reactions. Some people are excited and see this as innovation. Others are worried and think it might fail. This divide in opinion is what makes the project even more interesting. People are not just watching to see the result, they are watching to see who is right. The engineering challenge behind this exhaust system is far greater than what most people might expect. The Bugatti Chiron uses a quad-turbocharged W16 engine, which means it has 4 turbochargers pushing out massive amounts of exhaust gases. Managing this flow is extremely important. If the exhaust is not designed correctly, it can reduce power, increase heat, or even damage the engine over time. This is why factory systems are carefully tested and refined over years. In this case, the new design includes a complex setup known as a double X pipe, which merges and redirects exhaust flow in a way that balances pressure and improves sound. Getting this right is not easy. Too much back pressure can reduce engine efficiency, while too little can cause turbulence and poor sound quality. On top of that, the placement of these pipe connections must be extremely precise. Even small mistakes can lead to performance issues. The team working on this project is using modern techniques like 3D printing to create templates for the most complicated sections. This allows them to test fitment before final welding. They are also designing custom brackets to handle vibration and movement, which is important because the engine produces extreme heat and force under load. All of this shows that the process is not random. It is carefully planned and executed, even without official factory data. Another important aspect of this project is the difference in philosophy between factory-built systems and custom-built systems. When a company like Bugatti designs an exhaust, they have to consider many factors. These include noise regulations, comfort for the driver, and the expectations of luxury buyers. The result is often a system that is refined and controlled, rather than loud and aggressive. In contrast, a custom system does not have to follow these rules. It can focus purely on performance and sound. This is exactly what is happening in this case. The new exhaust is being designed to remove restrictions and allow the engine to express its full character. For many enthusiasts, this is exciting because it offers something different from the factory experience. However, it also raises questions. Can a small team really match the level of engineering done by a company with massive resources? Can they create something that not only sounds better, but also performs reliably over time? These are valid concerns, and they are part of what makes the project so closely watched. The idea that independent builders can create something equal or even better than a major manufacturer is powerful, but it also comes with risks. The reaction from the community has been strong and divided. On one side, there are fans who see this as a bold and creative project. They admire the skill involved and believe that innovation often comes from people willing to take risks. Some have even described the work as art, highlighting the beauty of the design and the craftsmanship involved in building such a complex system by hand. On the other side, there are critics who are not convinced. Some believe that without access to official data, the system is likely to fail. They point to the extreme conditions inside the engine and the need for precise calculations that are usually done by large teams of engineers. There are also comments questioning the reputation of the company building the exhaust, suggesting that their success in other markets may not translate to a project of this scale. These criticisms are not entirely unreasonable. The Bugatti Chiron is not a normal car. It operates at a level where small mistakes can have very large consequences. However, supporters argue that the principles of engineering are universal. With the right materials, proper design, and careful testing, it is possible to create a system that works effectively even without factory support. Beyond the technical details, this project represents something larger. It is a challenge to the traditional idea that only manufacturers can build and repair high-end vehicles. In this case, the manufacturer has refused to provide parts or support, effectively saying that the rebuild should not happen. Instead of stopping, the team has decided to create their own solutions. This includes not only the exhaust but also other components like the gearbox support and cooling systems. Each part requires its own expertise, and each solution adds to the overall complexity of the project. What makes this situation unique is the level of transparency. The entire process is being shared with the public, allowing viewers to see both the progress and the challenges. This creates a sense of involvement and makes people feel like they are part of the journey. It also increases the stakes. If the project succeeds, it will prove that independent builders can overcome even the most difficult obstacles. If it fails, it will reinforce the idea that such projects are too risky without manufacturer support. Either outcome will have a lasting impact on how people view custom builds at this level. Looking ahead, there are still many unknowns. One of the biggest concerns is the condition of the gearbox, which could affect the entire timeline and budget of the rebuild. If it can be repaired, the project will continue moving forward. If it needs to be replaced, finding a solution without official support will be extremely difficult. At the same time, other parts of the car are being worked on by different specialists. The cooling system, structural components, and now the exhaust are all being developed in parallel. This means that progress is happening on multiple fronts, but it also means that delays in one area can affect the whole project. The custom exhaust remains one of the most anticipated elements. When the engine finally starts with a new system installed, it will be a defining moment. It will answer many of the questions that people have been asking since the project began. Will it sound better than the factory version? Will it perform reliably under extreme conditions? And most importantly, will it prove that this kind of independent engineering is not only possible but also successful? Until that moment arrives, the debate will continue, and the automotive world will keep watching closely. One of the most interesting parts of this entire project is not just the exhaust itself, but what it represents in the bigger picture of the automotive world. For many years, companies like Bugatti have controlled every part of their vehicles, from design to repair. These cars are built with extreme precision, and manufacturers often believe that only their own engineers have the knowledge and tools to maintain or rebuild them properly. This is especially true for a car like the Chiron, which is not just a vehicle but a complex machine built with cutting-edge technology. When Bugatti refused to provide parts or support for this rebuild, they were sending a clear message: this kind of project should not happen outside their control. But instead of stopping, Armstrong and his team decided to continue. That decision has turned this rebuild into something much bigger than just fixing a damaged car. It has become a real-world test of whether independent builders can match or even challenge the capabilities of a major manufacturer. The custom exhaust system is a perfect example of this challenge. It is not just about making the car louder. It is about proving that high-level engineering can exist outside of corporate systems, using modern tools, creativity, and determination. What makes this situation even more interesting is how technology has changed the way complex projects can be approached. In the past, building something like a custom exhaust for a hypercar would have been nearly impossible without factory data. Today, tools like 3D scanning, computer modeling, and advanced fabrication techniques have made it easier to reverse engineer and improve existing designs. The team working on this Chiron is using many of these tools to bridge the gap between factory-level engineering and independent craftsmanship. For example, 3D printing is being used to create precise templates for complicated pipe junctions. This allows the fabricators to test different designs before committing to final welding. It reduces the chance of errors and helps ensure that everything fits perfectly within the tight space of the engine bay. At the same time, modern materials like high-grade titanium are being used to handle extreme heat and stress. These are not basic solutions. They show a deep understanding of both engineering principles and practical fabrication. While Bugatti may have more resources, independent teams now have access to tools that allow them to compete in ways that were not possible before. This shift is part of a larger trend in many industries, where smaller teams can achieve impressive results by combining skill with technology. Of course, having the right tools does not guarantee success. The real challenge lies in execution. Designing an exhaust system on paper or in a computer model is one thing, but making it work in real-world conditions is something else entirely. The Bugatti Chiron produces extreme levels of heat and pressure, especially under full load. The exhaust system must be able to handle these conditions without cracking, warping, or failing over time. This is where the critics focus their concerns. They argue that without access to Bugatti's internal testing data, it is impossible to predict how the system will behave after long periods of use. They point out that manufacturers spend years testing their designs in different conditions, from cold starts to high-speed runs. Independent builders may not have the same level of testing capability, which increases the risk of failure. However, supporters of the project believe that careful design and experience can overcome these challenges. They argue that the principles of heat management, material strength, and fluid dynamics are well understood. With proper calculations and attention to detail, it is possible to create a system that performs reliably. This difference in opinion is at the heart of the debate, and it is one of the reasons why so many people are following the project closely. Another important factor to consider is the role of creativity in engineering. When a manufacturer designs a car, they must follow strict guidelines related to safety, regulations, and brand identity. This often limits how far they can push certain aspects of performance or design. Independent builders, on the other hand, have more freedom. They can experiment with ideas that might not be approved in a corporate setting. The custom exhaust on this Chiron is a clear example of that freedom. The 2.26 double X pipe design is not something you would typically see on a factory car. It is bold, unusual, and focused entirely on delivering a unique sound and performance profile. This kind of creativity can lead to breakthroughs, but it can also lead to unexpected problems. That is the risk that comes with stepping outside traditional methods. For viewers and car enthusiasts, this makes the project even more exciting. It is not just about whether the exhaust will work, but about seeing what happens when someone tries something new at such a high level. It turns the rebuild into a story of experimentation, where success and failure are both possible outcomes. The involvement of companies like Valvetronic also adds another layer to the story. Valvetronic has built a reputation for creating exhaust systems that focus on sound quality and driver experience. Their products are known for being adjustable, allowing drivers to change how loud or aggressive the exhaust sounds. Bringing that expertise into a project like this shows that the team is not just experimenting randomly. They are working with specialists who understand the importance of acoustic design as well as performance. Sound is a major part of what makes a car exciting, especially for enthusiasts. The Bugatti Chiron is already a powerful machine, but some people feel that its factory exhaust is too quiet or refined. The custom system aims to change that by giving the engine a stronger voice. If done correctly, this could transform the driving experience and make the car feel more engaging. However, achieving the right balance is not easy. Too much noise can become unpleasant, while too little change may not justify the effort. This is why acoustic tuning is just as important as mechanical design in this project. As the rebuild continues, the custom exhaust remains one of the most talked about elements. It represents both the ambition and the risk of the entire project. If it succeeds, it will be a clear example of what independent builders can achieve with the right combination of skill, technology, and determination. It will also challenge the idea that only manufacturers can handle complex engineering tasks at this level. On the other hand, if it fails, it will highlight the difficulties of working without factory support and the importance of extensive testing. Either way, the outcome will provide valuable lessons for the automotive community. People are not just watching to see a car get fixed. They are watching to see a boundary being tested. The moment when the engine finally starts with a new exhaust will be more than just a technical milestone. It will be the point where theory meets reality and where all the debates are put to the test. Until then, the story continues to build, drawing more attention and raising more questions with each update. As the project moves forward, it becomes clearer that this custom exhaust is not just another modification. It could become one of the most defining elements of the entire rebuild. For most cars, an exhaust upgrade is a simple change meant to improve sound or slightly boost performance. But in the case of a Bugatti Chiron, nothing is simple. Every component is designed to handle extreme conditions, and every change can have a major impact on how the car behaves. This is why the custom system being developed is attracting so much attention. It is not only about making the car louder, but about unlocking a version of the engine that people rarely get to experience. The W16 engine is already known for its incredible power, but its full character is often hidden behind a refined and controlled factory setup. By redesigning the exhaust, the goal is to reveal that hidden side, making the engine feel more alive, more aggressive, and more connected to the driver. This idea alone is enough to excite enthusiasts because it offers something that even the original manufacturer chose not to deliver. Sound plays a much bigger role in driving experience than many people realize. It is not just noise,